England, and I only go to the Iceland game because I don't think about my career that much at all, to be honest with you. I don't think about my coaching career that much at all. I sometimes pick up the lessons from it. But the Iceland game is the one thing that sometimes I think, mainly for Roy, and obviously the country as well, but for Roy, thinking about sort of that last game and how we were.
That was so, after the game was so strange. Because I remember obviously Roy come in and basically said he's gone, and then he said he's not doing any press, and I remember coming up to you might coming up to you and saying, guys, he has to do the press. He
went out.
They're going to kill him. And then eventually he done it. But yeah, that game was, that was it's a low moment, obviously.
Have you ever been in a game? I've never been part of a game like that as an active sort of member of a team. Or have you ever felt like that on a pitch? Or
it was strange. The last 20 minutes was so strange because I was a bit deeper in midfield, and I think we showed ourselves as a young team, and we were very naive the last 20 minutes. And how many times have we said, keep moving the ball side to side, crossing the box, you'll pick up second balls, you'll get your chance, you'll wear them down, and we were committing players forward too quickly, taking shots from stupid angles, distances, and I'm really panicked and played into their hands. They had the two banks of four or five or whatever at the time, and I never felt we were going to score in that last 20 minutes, and you could feel the game just going away from them.
The atmosphere was weird in the stadium even, wasn't it? It was a strange just feeling in the stadium.
Yeah, and the fact that obviously you'd expect it to beat Iceland, and because I actually think in that tournament, I thought in the games before that we played really well, and some of the best football we played for years, and with England I felt, and then that game was weird. It was like
it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was one-off, and that's the weird part. You sat in that dressing room and you're thinking, I'm home tomorrow.
Do you remember the throw-in?
Yeah, a big threat. I was the centre half. Yeah.
Do you want to go there?
that was fine. Obviously, I was meant to block him, and I've lost him. Yeah.
The first part of the game we started well. What was your view of what happened in that sort of like next 10, 15 minutes when it sort of slipped away from us? It went quickly, didn't it?
Yeah. Don't know really. It was weird because I scored the penalty early on, and I thought we had control, and I think they got a little bit of momentum. They did get a few throw-ins and set pieces and stuff like that, and then caused a couple of problems, and then they get the equaliser and then go 2-1 up, and all of a sudden you're chasing the game, and I think they were probably the worst team to go behind to in the tournament. A bit like Greece when Greece won Euro 2004. They got in front, and it was so difficult to break them down.
It's interesting. I think you said it out there that your best tournament was your first one. My best tournament was my first one, Euro '96, and then it never got as good after that. Do you feel like I just feel ultimately disappointed that I could never deliver. We could never deliver with England and win a trophy, or just get to a final and do what the current team are doing. Do you feel frustrated, or do you think we just weren't good enough?
Yeah, because when you look at the players we had in that squad, it was incredible. Some of the best players to play the game. And to not go further than what we did is disappointing. So I think if you go back now, if you put that team in today's game, I think we go a lot further. I think we were quite basic in how we set up. I felt.
Yeah, and just think about the current team. I only talked to you about a few players that are currently playing for England, and how good you think they are, or what you think they need to do to get to the point whereby they can be regarded as the best players. I'll start with Jude Bellingham. Where are you at with Jude Bellingham? And how good a player?
I played against Jude when I think he was 16. I was at Derby, he was at Birmingham, and he actually man-marked me.
Really?
In the game, yeah. I was playing deep in midfield, I was controlling games, and he come man-mark me, so I kept dragging him out wide, and he didn't like it. And what I loved about him, he going for a tackle, and he'd leave one on me, and a bit like I would have done. I remember after the game saying he's going to go far, and obviously I'd never expected what he's done now. And I think what you see with Jude, you see a player who wants it, and he's got a mentality, and he wants to play every minute of every game. And I think a great example to any young player or older player is If you watch the Man City Real Madrid game at the Etihad, where City had full control of the game, and you watched how hard he worked for the 120 minutes, it was incredible. The work rate he put into that game was incredible. And then I always believe if you put that work in, you get rewards. And I think his mentality, for me, he's a future England captain for sure.
Who's England's most important current player? Who's the one player that they couldn't lose?
For me, you look at Harry Kane, it's probably Kane or Pickford.
Pickford?
I think Jordan's really important to England, and probably because Gareth hasn't rotated him in friendly games as much as well. So we've yet to see what the other keepers behind Jordan can do.
Do you rate Jordan? I think I got him wrong, because I think when I first saw him for England, I was worried about him for Everton. But the last 3-4 years, to be honest with you,
I played with him at Everton, didn't I? And then obviously I was in the England squad when he first got in the squad, and I think because the way he is, people will judge him because he's a bit livelier, and some of the stuff he does in the goal, a bit like Joe Hart was similar. At Ramsdale was similar as well. They're a bit fidgety, and if you like, and it doesn't fill you with that confidence. But I think because you're used to seeing him now, but you know he performs with that, I think it'd be a big concern if he was to get injured.
And Harry Kane, just talk to us about Harry Kane and what you've obviously played with him.
I think he's incredible. I think the goals he scored, assists. Now he's added over the last few years as well. For me, I'd probably say he's England's greatest ever player.
England's greatest ever player.
Yeah.
That's some statement from you.
I believe that. I think, and again, when you're talking about Jude before with his work rate, with Harry, there's never an issue. You see that he's ultra professional and never misses a game. Obviously, he's had a couple of injuries, and that's a common theme you'll see with all of these players, with Bellingham, with Harry Kane, Foden. Obviously, sometimes Pep leaves him out, but I assume, and I put money on it, they'd never miss a training session, never miss a game.
I want to talk about the left wing. Obviously, right wing's Bukayo Saka, centre forward's Harry Kane, but the left wing, you've got Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, maybe Maddison could play out there. Where do you start with that? You've got 4 or 5 fantastic players. Which one do you go with and why?
I don't know. You see, I think it depends on the game as well, because I want to see Foden most central. I think it's his best position.
So you want to see Foden off the front, basically?
Central, but then you've got Bellingham there as well. That's the headache Southgate's going to have, and and I suppose he could go with the two of them as 2 number 10s
in front of Declan Rice.
In front, and then the 3 in midfield behind. But then you relying on your fullbacks to be the ones to give you the whip. But
oh, you mean the 2 number 10s that be behind Harry Kane? You mean?
Yeah. But then Foden has to play.
I agree with that.
I think he has to play.
What about Anthony Gordon? Did you see bits of the interview with him?
So he speaks well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Who plays? So Foden definitely plays. So it would be him on the left if he was playing more solid.
And I think that's, again, it's a strength, and I think the last 2 tournaments, even just giving the players a little rest, even if it's for 15 minutes, can make a big difference, because we've got the strength and the quality in the squad. I think in previous tournaments we've tended to go with that. I think the last tournament, Harry was chasing the goal record, and I think if that weren't there, he maybe might be a little bit easier to bring him off when the game's done or whatever, and keep him a little bit fresher. But I would like to see us manage that a little bit better. But we've got some players. Foden, for me, Foden has to play. Saka as well, some players in there.
I think Saka has to play on the right. I think Saka will definitely play on the right, I would think. Bellingham will definitely play. I agree with you, Foden has to play. I said in the last World Cup that if Phil Foden can't start for England, we've got a real problem. He's that good, isn't he?
Yeah, he has to play, and you look at him and Jude, and obviously Jude's getting, I don't know Phil is, but Jude's getting so many positive headlines, and it's almost like Foden's going under the radar a little bit from it, where I think Foden scored more goals and more assists than what Bellingham's got this season, which I think Foden has to play. He has to.
Where are you at with Jack Grealish? When I watch Jack Grealish, I think of someone who's instinctive, beats men at will. But then when I watch him for City now, he's become quite predictable out on that left. Do you agree with that? Do you think he's had his...
Yeah, I think...
We can't have a go at Pep, can we? But this idea of his sort of like creativity has been stifled a little bit.
But I think what he does do, he draws players to him, doesn't he? And creates a bit of space for other players. And he holds onto the ball and players have a little bite of them, and then all of a sudden these little pockets
Opens
open
things
up. And teams obviously in City are sitting back, and so there's not a lot of space there for them.
Going to the most important position on the pitch, right back. You've got obviously Kyle Walker, who you would think is probably definitely going to play there. What would you do with Trent Alexander-Arnold, this like sensation of a talent, never seen anything like it in terms of play? Would you move him into midfield alongside? You wouldn't.
No.
Because he's been told, we interviewed him a few weeks ago for the overlap, and he's been told by Gareth that I think that's where his position will be for England if he's going to play now. And that he would go in there alongside Declan Rice and obviously maybe Bellingham if Foden played wide.
I've watched Trent play there a few times in midfield, and I think you lose a lot of his quality from football. I think his delivery is incredible, and of course he picks passes from midfield, etc. But I think he's got to try and fight it out. I know Kyle's probably the best right back in the world at the minute, but I think midfield is such an important position.
Who else would you play there? I mean, obviously, let's pretend that he doesn't play Foden and Bellingham in there because he wants a bit more solid.
I'd play Mainu before Trent in midfield.
You would?
Yeah, 100%. I'd play... Who else have we got?
We're struggling in there.
Yeah, there's not many, is there?
And I actually think Declan Rice's best position is when he plays
when he goes forward
ahead. So you definitely say to Trent, stay at right back and fight it.
I think, yeah, and it's not that he's not good in it. I think, you see it against Everton the other week, and you see it in Gabe Silver's passes. He's hitting is incredible, and it's probably only Bex who's been similar to that when Bex went central. But I think to play in midfield, that discipline you need from a defensive point of view, and especially when you come up against the bigger teams, I think you get found a bit.
You're going over for the summer, aren't you?
Yeah.
How far do you think England can go?
Oh, they can win it.
Do you think they can win it?
Yeah.
Have they got the defensive strength to win it?
I think they can win it. I think I think other countries are starting to fear England a little bit, where I think before it was, they're a good team, but there was never that fear. I think with England now there's a fear, and as we spoke about the players, England have got a little bit short of midfield. Still, well, I'm assuming it would be Maguire and Stones who'll play centre half, both experienced in tournaments now as well. So they can win. I think it'll be tough, but they can certainly win it. You need a bit of luck as well, of course, but there's no reason why they can't.
Well, it's a pretty good place to finish. England winning the tournament. I'll see you in
Cheers,
Berlin.